today's pretty exciting. We're talking about a new offering from New Masters Academy. This is really exciting stuff. So we're introducing the concept of these online workshops. Um, these workshops are pretty special, and they're different than pretty much everything else that we're doing right now. Um, these workshops, the whole idea of these workshops is short, intensive education that's focused around a project, that's focused around you getting an actual piece of work done. And that's really important because I know as students, we spend so much of our time practicing. We do our assignments, and all this is critical to be able to become the artist that you want to be. You have to put in the hours and the time doing these assignments and these sketches and these a lot of starts. But we also encourage you and have encouraged you always to do finished pieces, to get through work, because it's when you complete pieces of work that you really find the holes in your knowledge, in what you need to learn, what you're missing. And that actually in turn makes it so that your education is more effective, because when you work through projects, like I said, you know what you're missing, or you even know areas that you didn't even know existed, and they give you an overview idea of where you're going, and it actually makes it so much easier when then you're watching the courses and doing the assignments, conceptualizing where you're going and how these apply. If everything is theory all the time, your brain doesn't even really hold on to it. It can only hold so much information, and then it kind of slips out, because if you're not utilizing it, then your brain doesn't think it's important and it kind of chucks it. That's why we've always said it's critical that you're spending, this is a recommendation, and this is kind of the general vanilla recommendation that we give, is that 50% of your time that you have devoted to your art education is 50% of that you are learning, doing the assignments, watching the videos. And the other 50% of it is doing projects, is doing finished pieces. That's critical. And we wanted to give you an actual tangible way to do this that has steps, that has guidance, that has accountability, so that you can actually do this, because it's also difficult to actually go through and do a project. You can so many times we'll start something and then we'll stop because we're like, I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm worried that I'm on the wrong track, or whatever it is. So we wanted to give you a way to kind of hold your hand through this process so that you're going to get a project done. If you are listening and you are going through the steps, you're going to have a project done. You're going to have a piece of art finished. And for a lot of you, this might be the first project you're fully going through since joining here. And it's not only that it helps your education, it's also exciting. When you complete a piece of art like this, then you're like, hey, I'm an artist. It makes a big difference. And when you have that feeling like, wow, like I actually did a painting, or I did, a watercolor, or whatever this is, you're like, I'm an artist. And here's the proof. Like, I have this, see, I'm an artist. Before you do that, so much of it is like, I have all my assignments and exercises I've done. So it's like, here's my boxes, mom, here's my boxes, wife. And it's hard because you know that this is the critical stuff that is going to make you the artist that you want to be. But it's also hard to like show others and yourself that, and that's a big part of this. And I know like Steve Houston and Joshua and so many other people talk about this is the consistency and the resilience and the, I'm not having the word right now, of the stick to itness that's required to become the artist that you want to become. That's the biggest thing. Like, throw everything else out, and it's about, can you keep on it? Can you keep going? And one of the most important parts of keep going is that encouragement, or that feeling of where you're trying to get to. And that's where projects or finished pieces of art come in. So all that is to say that we wanted to provide an actual way for you to do this through NMA. So we want to be able to give you a way to start accomplishing these projects in a guided way. So that's the idea behind these workshops. Uh, they are, like I said, this first one that's coming up. It's really exciting. So it's this workshop with Catherine Bobkowski. She's, if you've been part of NMA for any length of time, you know how wonderful she is. What an amazing instructor and artist she is, which is really rare. Um, uh, and NMA kind of captures all of those that we have. It's very, if you don't know, it's very difficult to have someone who really understands the fundamentals and these concepts and that can achieve the art that they're doing at the same time being able to convey that in a way that's effective for students to learn. Catherine is one of the best that we've ever had the pleasure of working with, and so it was really fitting having our first workshop being with Catherine. And this workshop is really exciting. The project that you're going to be doing is a botanical painting, um, and the idea is that uh, it's only a few days. I think it's 4 days,
Yeah,
6 hour days. Yeah, 4 days, 6 hour days. It's an intensive workshop, but don't let that scare you, because here's the thing is that because it's so compact, you are so much more likely to actually do it. Because if this is like an 8 week thing, it's a lot easier for you to drop off, to forget about it, to not have the motivation to get through it. When you sign up and you do one of these workshops, like, you're in it. You give it 4 days, and this is your full-time business. This is what you're doing, and you're rewarded for that with not only, like we were saying, the increase in your skills and your knowledge about the art, also with the artwork that you're coming away with. So this one specifically with Catherine is really exciting because her botanical work is incredible. Um, it's it's uh, it's it's beyond just like, oh well, here's a still life. She really gives a lot of character into what she's doing, and they're just gorgeous. And if you're not familiar with
yeah,
her botanical work, we should post some links or some other stuff here, and if not right now, then we will. And when we have her, when you're actually able to go and sign up for this, we'll have examples of her work as well. But she's incredible. So if you are interested at all in doing botanical work, this is by far the best thing you can do. But besides that, if you're interested in painting and oil painting, this is an amazing subject matter because it's it's organic. There's such shifts in color and form. There's different materials. This is a really great way to kind of feel out all the different aspects of um, painting. You know, there's soft edges, there's hard edges, there's um, pretty much everything you can want to do. And depending on whether you're doing a vase or any of these other things or the background, you're also dealing with like more mechanical straight edges and then more organic. It's a really amazing subject matter. So even if you have no
yeah.
intention of painting flowers, this is going to be something that is going to teach you kind of all of these skills, and that will translate uh, really well into other work. And Thaddeus can probably speak better to that than I can, because Thaddeus himself is a really accomplished oil painter. So Thaddeus, like, what about doing? So say I'm not necessarily like super into doing botanicals, but I'm wanting to, become a painter. Why could this be something that's beneficial still for me?
First off, Catherine's really good at starting at beginning. She's really good at getting beginners comfortable with oil painting, and then she's really good at explaining how color works and how value works and how you can use color and value to create depth in her still life, especially with her botanical work. She's really able to orchestrate this sort of control and value and really give crisp detail and depth within each of her flowers. Like, looking at the images that are posted in chat, like, each one of them has their specific logic to them, and yeah, she's just really amazing at them. Um, as for some of the questions in here, is it strictly oil? I believe for your the best learning outcome, oil is preferred. But I think digital would work, and some sort of acrylic mediums, maybe even gouache might work for this. Um, but I think for the best learning outcome, oil is preferred. But just her instruction and her way of being able to break down everything into like a fundamental into their fundamental properties, um, I think you can translate this to any sort of art medium.
Yeah, so Catherine is going to be working in oils. And just like with all of our course content, there's always the option of doing this digitally. And a lot of painting translates um, the core fundamentals of painting translates to any medium that you're using to paint for the most part. Does that mean it's the most effective when you're doing a workshop like this, where you're going to be asking questions and going back and forth? Maybe, maybe not. You can accomplish a lot of this in digital for sure. She will be able to answer so many questions though when it comes to working with the medium with oil paint, which can be super tricky to do. And when you have the access to be asking a professional about this, it's really invaluable. But this is not like, here's some tips and tricks on how to use oil. This is about painting. So if you are coming into this being like, well, I'm going to use Rebel, or I'm going to use whatever else, come on, you can do it. It's not a problem. And she won't not critique you because you're doing it digitally, because all she cares about and what we care about is the foundations and the technique and the painting. And painting, especially nowadays, does not mean that you're using paint. And it's your approach to creating a visual art. So I think that we're going to have a talk with Catherine. We're going to have actually Catherine run one of these as we get closer to the workshop, where she's going to go more specifically into the workshop itself, and we'll have her talk specifically on working digitally with this stuff. But just know that while Catherine's going to be working in the medium she is, that you're welcome to do it however you want, but that she won't be able to assist you technically on issues that might come up if you are working in within reason. Like, she might be able to help you if you have specific things with acrylic, but when it comes to digitally, probably no. Watercolor is probably not going to be the best thing to do on this. It's a completely different beast. Um, but yeah, I hope that helps to answer those questions. I wanted to talk um, a little bit more just about the structure of the workshop. Um, so we've already said that this is about botanical oil painting. You're going to cover things like composition, value thumbnails, color studies, and advanced painting approaches. This is the whole thing. So if you were going to sit down and be like, I need to make an oil painting, this is going to show you how to get through that. And as far as experience here, uh, at New Masters Academy, we always talk about the idea um, that before you really jump into painting, you need to have a strong foundation in drawing. Does that mean that you can't do this workshop? No, because like we were saying in the beginning, going through finished projects is how you know what you're working towards. And this would kind of be the exception, because say you're wanting to be an oil painter and you're doing New Masters Academy, you might be you're starting with the foundations and you're doing, boxes and lines and values and all this other stuff. But okay, what about that other 50% we were talking about, where you're supposed to be creating art? What are you doing then? Well, you're doing oil paintings and you're doing this stuff that you may not be ready for, but you're doing them. That's the whole idea of doing these projects, is that you're trying to do the projects and the art that you're wanting to do. So it's okay if you're at a level where you don't feel like, that you should be doing this yet, or it's like, well, in the curriculum from NMA, this is like a year down the road or whatever. Forget about that. If you are interested in being a painter, you should be doing this. And this is kind of walking you through that. Like this is the kick in the pants that gets you to do this, because hopefully after you do this workshop, if you haven't been doing projects, you'll know the process so that you can do this. I'm going to do this still life, and I'm going to try and paint my sister, and I'm going to do this, and this is what you should be doing 100%, even though you're not at that place in the curriculum. So come at any level that you're at. Now, as far as what is your outcome going to be, like, are you going to come away with this with like a professional portfolio piece? Well, that's going to depend on where you're at. If you are at that level in your education where you're just needing some of that guidance to get you to that point, you can come away with this with something you can put in your portfolio for sure. And it also depends on what you're using that portfolio for, because I would argue that at any level, building this portfolio it's an evolving thing. So you put this finished piece into your portfolio, and as you advance and as you go, you are able to move things in and out, and
Mhm.
designing and building your portfolio is an art in itself. And this is something that our coaches help with, and other stuff like that. But it's like, yeah, get that into your portfolio. The most important thing, the critical thing I keep wanting to push on this, is getting that piece of artwork done. Sure, you can do this workshop and you can be like, well, I want to spend 3 months doing this. Like, I want to do all the learning, but then I want to put my time into it. I would advise against it. I really would, because the whole point is being like, I have 4 days. I'm going to get this done. Giving yourself those restrictions is so valuable. You're going to be really surprised with yourself, but this is the point. You got to get through this project. So are you ready to do the workshop? If you're interested in doing oil painting, you're ready to do it. Obviously, there's gonna be struggles that you're gonna go through if you have no experience with drawing and no experience with painting. But that's fine, because it's gonna make you a better student. You're gonna jump in and painting. You're gonna be like, man, I really don't know how lines work, and I don't know anything about composition, and I don't even know. I can't tell the difference between colors. Good, because now you know these things, and now you have experience, and now when you're going back to drawing foundations, you're like, wow, I can actually implement this, and I know where I'm going uh, with this stuff. So the workshop, these are 6-hour days. You're going to have regular breaks throughout these, but these are 6-hour days from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I believe this is Pacific time. um,
Yes.
and you're gonna have breaks throughout it. But you are here to art. that's what you're doing here. So you're diving in and you're going full bore on this. And there's different levels of that interaction we'll talk about, but it's going to be a 6-hour day. Block out those 4 days, because you really want to be able to give all your focus to this, and it's going to be, it's going to take a lot of your mental energy and everything else to be able to do this. Um, you don't necessarily have to be available all of those 6 hours, because there are going to be DVRs of this. It is going to be recorded. But especially if you have the interactive uh, passes on these, it behooves you to be there so that you can ask the questions you need to and get the help that you want to in real time. So there is going to be real-time interaction. Again, we'll talk about the different levels of this, but this is working with Catherine, and her whole job here is trying to get you through this process of how do I start and how do I get to a finished painting. Catherine, like we said, she's a master in botanical painting, and she's a master instructor. She's really, really amazing. So this is the best start for this, and it's not. This is definitely a first step. Like, we wanted to start really exciting with Catherine, but we've got a lot more exciting stuff, additional exciting stuff, not more exciting than Catherine, but additional exciting offerings that are coming up for our workshops. So this is just a really exciting new offering and a new step for us. So I wanted to talk a little bit about getting involved. How do you actually do this workshop? What are the different levels of joining the workshop? Because we have structured it in a specific way so that we're able to give the level of education we need to students. And obviously, it can't be like, hey, everyone come in and we'll just try our best to serve everyone. We can't do that. So we do have limited availability on the interactive portions of this workshop. That's the way it has to be. Just like in a physical workshop where you're coming in, where they're working with you and helping you get through these projects. That's the way that it's working with our online workshops. So we have a limited number of seats for people uh, who are getting the normal pass for the workshop, and then we have another step up, which we're calling our VIP experience, which just gives you a after the workshop days are done, you have special experiences with Catherine, where you're actually on a video call like this, and where she's, maybe giving extra tips. Maybe she's answering your questions face to face. Maybe she's looking at your work and giving extra help. That's the difference there. But you don't need that experience to get the interactive, level of education from this workshop. So there's three basic tiers. The first one is going to be the viewer pass, right? And we have as many of these as there are students who are interested. And this is great because you can take the workshop, you have the DVR available to you, you can follow along, you can do all that stuff. In the Discord community, when we have like chats and everything else going on, obviously this is all open to you to be able to do. And those aren't limited. So anyone can sign up for that. And that's awesome. Because we didn't want to shut this off for anyone, right? But again, when it comes to actually getting interaction from Catherine, we have to have limits on these things. So the next step up from that is our workshop pass. This is like the main thing here. Is our workshop pass, and what that allows you to do is getting morning critiques, getting feedback on your work, being able to ask questions throughout the day. So like I said, this is a 6-hour day. So there's going to be a lot of times during the day where it opens up to students. So the people that are participating in this workshop can ask questions to Catherine, can communicate directly to her and everything. And that's not available for the viewer pass, for the people that are just getting the DVRs and watching it. So this is where the actual participation comes. And as a student, as a workshop pass holder, this is who Catherine's going to be talking to and working and trying to push you through getting that project done. This is where that accountability is happening. That's where it's like, hey, you're at this space right now. You really need to move on here. Her job is trying to get you to actually have this project done. So this isn't just like, hey, you're doing great with your colors, focus on this and X, Y, and Z. It's like, hey, we're trying to get this project done. So let me look at where you're at right now, and how do we figure out how to get you to the finished piece. And if you have specific questions about what you're trying to achieve with it or whatever, that's what Catherine's going to help you do. Just like if you were going to a physical workshop, this is the kind of interaction that there's going to be. Again, that's pretty much the whole package, is this workshop interaction, where you're being able to get motivated and walk through getting this project done. But then we do have a tier above that, and what that is that, like I said, after the 6-hour days, you actually get on a Google Meets. I think we're going to use Meets, but we're going to use some kind of video chatting software where we're actually talking like this. And it's like, hey, Catherine, interacting directly. And that's a much smaller set of people, because again, we want to make sure first and foremost that the educational experience that everyone's getting is as great as it possibly can be. So you're going to be talking directly to Catherine. Like I said, Catherine is going to, it's not the same thing every day. It's not like, well, after our 6-hour day, then we're going to have extra critiques. That's really not what it's about. Catherine will be able to talk more about this when we have her on here, but they are going to be personalized experiences for those VIP students, whatever that might mean for the workshop at the time. And again, her goal is to try and get you to finishing this project. And as far as the viewers, like the viewer pass that everyone can get access to, you get DVR access and live access to watch it. So you're able to watch it live. You're there with everyone else watching it live, and you also have DVR access. The only difference is that, well, it's a huge difference. The difference is that you're not interacting with Catherine and you're not you're not being focused on trying to get you through to the project. But if you're following along, you can get to the end of that project just like everybody else. You're just not having more of that hand holding that's going on with the interactive pass holders. So baseline viewer, you still get to watch it live and you still get DVR access. Okay. Then you have your workshop pass, which gives you that you get morning critiques throughout the day. You get to ask questions. Catherine is going to be aware of you and focusing on you, trying to make sure that you are finishing this project and that at every step of the way that you are getting the advice that you need to get you to that finished portfolio piece, or however you want to conceptualize that. Then the third tier, like I said, adds on that experience after the days are done, where you're on a call speaking directly to Catherine. She's going to have special experiences there. All of them are focused around that project and getting that project done, but they're going to be specifically more tailored to you and where you're at and answering your questions. And it's going to be more colloquial, and it's like we're talking like this. So that's what they are. The prices on all this stuff is going to be coming out today. We are going to be announcing it on Discord. And we're also going to be sending out emails for this. If you did sign up for the RSVP, we are going to be sending out the links for these because it is limited. And I don't think I told you the limit on these things. It's 25. Correct me if I'm wrong, Thaddeus. It's 25 people that can get the workshop pass, the interactive workshop pass.
Yeah.
That's it. There's 25 people. And again, this is solely because we want to offer a certain level of interaction and help to get these students through here. And we can't really push the limit past that on the 25. And then the VIP pass is limited. You can only do 10 people on those, 10 students. Again, because it needs to be, this is just you on a video call with Catherine, and it needs to be small, manageable, so that all of you can get the interaction that you need. So we're going to be sending out the emails because we told y'all that if you signed up for the VIP, we're going to be giving you access to that first. The way that we're actually rolling that out is that we're going to be sending an email to each one of you individually in the order that they came in. So if you signed up on the on the RSVP list, we're going to be sending out emails today in the order that we got them, and we can't really like wait. But I mean, we're going to send them out, and they're all going to be out today. So when you get that link, if you're doing one of the interactive passes, I would highly recommend that you just get them, because we don't have a way to enforce like who's buying these at what times. So if someone gets that link and they get in there and they want to purchase the interactive or the VIP, they're going to get it if we have them left. But again, we only have 25 of them for the interactive, 10 for the VIP. And then for the viewer pass, like I said, if you want to watch live and you want to get the DVRs, those are open for everyone. You don't have to stress about it. You don't have to worry about it. But I wanted to let you know, if you're wanting to participate in this as interactive, seriously look out for the email and click it as soon as you can. I think we still you can still do the RSVP list, because obviously we have a bunch of people that are on the list, but not everyone are going to be getting interactive. So it doesn't mean that there's no spots available. So if you want to be one of those people that are getting it first before we put it on Discord or announce it, I believe you can still do that, Thaddeus. Yeah. So Natalie is putting information in the chat that you can RSVP with. I think you just have to send in an email, but she's going to let you know in the chat. And again, what this is, it's a first come, first serve thing where we're going to start in our email, we're going to start at the top and we're going to be like, here's your link. And we're going to work down. We're not just going to blast this out to all of you. We're going to do it, individually, but the timing between those is not going to be like great, because we have to get a lot of these out today. But so if you see it come in and you wanted the interactive one, pick it up. Other than that, let me see. I want to make sure I'm not missing details here. I'm really excited
I
about
think
this
it
stuff because we've
yeah.
been harping on the whole idea of actually getting work done, and I think this is an exciting thing for students.
It's super exciting because it's really hard to nail down instructors for this amount of time and for this sort of intensive workshop thing. Like it's us as NMA are very privileged to have instructors to be able to allocate this time, and that trickles down to you guys, the students. Like it's really hard to set up a working time that an instructor can sit down, paint for 6+ hours live 4 days straight. Our live classes are great because it's a 2 hour session, it's once per week, but to have this sort of intensive, real feeling workshop is a unique thing to have.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. This is a really special and different experience. Like I said, I know we have a lot going on for our students. I mean, we have live classes, we have group coaching, we have uh, of course our core library of our courses. This is different in the fact that the whole point of this is that you doing an actual piece of art. This is you
Mhm.
being the artist. This is you actually, it's like you're practicing all this time, practice, practice. This is us walking you through the process of like, okay, let's be an artist and let's do it. Like, let's get something done. Um, the one thing I did forget to say is with the VIP passes, it's not just that you get that special time with Catherine. You also get an NMA shirt, a complimentary shirt from us to commemorate you being part of the workshop, and you also get a discount on our additional workshops, which is great. Um, I believe it's a 10% discount on future
Yeah,
workshops,
10.
which is a big deal
Yeah.
because these kind of workshops are not something that we can really discount at all. Because obviously this is an experience with you working with Catherine, and this is real human time with Catherine doing this stuff. So any kind of discount on this is a rare kind of special thing. So if you do get the VIP level on this, then you do get that 10% on your next workshop that you sign up for. And like I said, we do have some that are already in the pipeline that we're just waiting to pull the trigger on announcing for you.
Mhm.
Um, that's going to be exciting stuff. But even not even thinking about this special thing with Catherine is really an incredible experience. Let's see here. Like I said, with the pricing, that's all coming out today. And I want to reiterate, if you're on that RSVP, please keep your eye out because I don't think we've ever done something that was like physically limited like this. So
Yeah.
really gotta be aware. Um, this is suitable for all levels. Like I
Yeah.
said, this is gonna be recorded. So no matter what level that you are at with the workshop, you're gonna be able to rewatch this. And you'll be able to attend it live, even with the viewer pass, like Thaddeus was saying.
And also, you don't need a NMA subscription to take this workshop. This is open to everybody. So
That's a good
if it's
point.
not something, yeah, if it's not something that's necessarily you're interested in, but you know somebody that is interested in, this is perfect for anybody to sign up for.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you can take this with a friend, right? So it's like
Oh yeah,
if a friend wants to get the viewer pass and you're getting the interactive pass so that you can do that, you can be taking it together. You don't need an NMA subscription. The viewer pass is really affordable for everyone to be able to get in and do this. The dates, I think
uh,
someone put them in
November
there.
2nd to the 5th.
Okay. So it's November 2nd to the 5th. So we have some time here. Uh, but as we get closer, like I said, we're going to have Catherine talking about it. We're going to be releasing more information about it. But today, we are putting the page up for you to be able to buy these. And I 100% anticipate that it's going to be, these seats are going to fill up like really, really fast. So just keep that in mind. If you do miss it, it's like, no, it's get the viewer pass. That's awesome. You still get to be there live and you still get to do it. And you still get to work through the project. But yeah, am I missing anything, Thaddeus?
No, I think you're covering most of it. As for materials list will be out soon.
Right.
Within the week's end. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know so
materials,
a question about
a
that.
good thing to talk a little bit about materials, I guess, because that's always like a stressful thing when uh, it comes to doing any kind of art course or workshop, especially with oil paints, because oil paints can get expensive really fast. Um, but one of the things I want Catherine will talk about is like options for that,
Mhm,
because it's not, you don't have to you don't have to spend an arm and a leg to do this. And we really are going to try to make it so that, this is the minimum of what you need to be able to do this. You're not going to be going out and you have to go to Art Supply Warehouse and just buy all the oil paints and drop all this stuff. There's definitely like different levels of getting into doing it. And we're going to make sure that it is approachable for you. Even if it's on an individual basis, we can give information and ideas and tips
mhm.
for doing that.
Yeah, looking at the
Let's see.
materials list right now, there's a lot of optional colors, but then there's just the base core colors that you're gonna need, which is essentially a basic palette. Yeah, Catherine makes her materials list very approachable for all levels. So that's great.
Yeah. And I saw a question in here about how this affects live classes and everything. This says this is completely separate than everything else that we're doing. This is a new thing. And like I said, this is a completely different beast than live classes, where live classes are long form, you know, weeks of work that are based around mostly about education and about
Mhm,
working through certain concepts or skills.
mhm,
Workshops are 100% like I'm doing an art project. That's what
mhm.
workshops are. That's what they're focused on. Um, so like I said, I know it can be confusing if you're looking on paper, the different offerings that we have, the difference between them, but this is its own beast and it is a very different sort of experience. And the whole point is getting this piece of artwork done. So the people that take this workshop, at the end of this thing, you're going to see a bunch of people with these awesome botanical paintings done. And
Mhm.
it's going to be exciting stuff. We're going to showcase for the people that want to be able to share these. We're going to showcase them in the community and all this stuff. It's going to be this really, a celebration of y'all getting through this and stuff as well.
Yeah, at the end of the workshops, about a week or 2 weeks after, we're gonna host a special exhibition, showcasing all the students' work and Catherine's work. So this is really focused on completing the painting within the time, and really adding something to your portfolio that you can show around.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Um, if you do have questions, I think we've covered pretty much all the main stuff that we need to cover right now. Like I said, you're gonna be getting the landing page that has like the ability to sign up and prices and all that stuff. That's coming out today. Um, we're gonna announce that. We're gonna put that link here on Discord, and we're gonna send out an email. But if you're on the RSVP list, we're gonna be sending that out before we're announcing it. So keep your eye on your
Mhm.
email. If you have questions right now, I know that we've gone already, I think 9 minutes past when we told you all we were going to, but if you have questions, if you can put them in the chat, I think we'll hang on for another few minutes here. If you
Yeah.
have questions after that, uh, either putting them here or where can they put these questions maybe that they weren't able to ask during this session, Thaddeus?
Here, or they can email info@NMA.
Okay. Um, I'm scrolling through the Discord here. I just want to check to see if there is questions that weren't answered or that I missed. Yes, there will be recording available for every level of people joining this. No, we are not going to be posting this as content for general subscribers as of right now. That's not planned. Again, these workshops kind of exist separately than everything else that we're doing. You don't need to be a New Masters Academy subscriber to be a part of this. Um, so this is the DVRs and the live experience. All of this is for the workshop people.
Yeah.
You're going to be given materials. Catherine's going to be. We're going to be sending those out shortly. Uh,
To
and
reiterate
this
the
there's
question
a
of,
lot of time like leading up to this. So ordering materials
oh
will
yeah,
be we're going to get these out as soon as possible, but I mean we've got like 30 days until then. We're going to get
mhm.
it out so that you have plenty of time to order and have the materials get to you.
Yeah, and future workshops will be announced soon, just not currently. We want to focus on Captain right now, but there are some exciting other topics coming down the pipeline for workshops. This is something unique for new masters, and we're really trying to focus on making this the best experience possible with unique topics and unique ways to build up your portfolio.
Yeah, so maybe the question is sort of like, are we going to turn around and have like another Catherine one right after this? Or are we going to have like someone having oil painting, and that's the next one we're announcing. That's not what it is right now. I know just off the top of my head, the ones that we are working towards, they're not oil painting based.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in doing the oil painting stuff, this is the one that you should sign up for. The ones that we're immediately announcing, I think the next one that we're announcing it has nothing to do with oil painting. It's a different
Hmm.
medium and stuff altogether. So if that was motivating the question at all, then that's what it is. Uh, yeah, which ones to prioritize cost wise? If you're doing oil painting, this is the one. This is the one to grab. This is the one to pick up.
Hmm.
Uh, will we have about a month to plan, reschedule things? I'm not so sure. I mean, maybe I'm misunderstanding the question. The question, Crystal. Will we have about a month to plan slash reschedule things like this one? I don't
For
know.
example, this one isn't until November. Chat's going crazy. So, those with full-time jobs can have time to request off and prioritize schedule. Uh, yeah, and in the future, we want to give the workshop some more leeway time, for you to plan for work. We try to choose like this one is scheduled around a weekend. Catherine specifically chose this date to schedule away from the holidays, so that way if you're working like a full-time job and you have to have time for the holidays, um that way you can request time separate from that. The majority of this weekend happens on the weekend, and she's trying she was very adamant about trying to work out a time that works for working people, and this is the best solution we can come up with.
Yeah, so I mean, with Catherine specifically, we got 30 days. So I mean, we have lots of time to request time off and do that sort of thing. We want to have that kind of as the baseline. I think with the very next one that we're doing, it might be less of a notice than that. Because we're also working with the instructors that we have, and obviously they have schedules and they have showings and everything else that they do. So we do work around them, but we do want to give as much time as possible for you to be able to do this. And also trying to do these workshops, making them tighter. That's part of the reason too, is like making it so that you can attend more of these. Like we might have 2-day workshops that are just weekends. We might have 3-day ones that are
Mhm.
trying to take as little time away from your daily stuff as possible. As far as certificates, that I don't know about. As far as I know, we are not doing any sort of certificate for
Mm-mm.
the workshops. That is a live class and New Masters Academy sort of thing for our regular education that we're doing. What you're getting at the end of this workshop is art. What you're getting at the end of this is I have a finished piece of work, and that is kind of your certificate of having accomplished something. Um, you're coming away with a portfolio piece. You're coming away with a finished piece of art that you can show people. All right, I mean we're at 45 past the hour, so I think I'm gonna call it. Post your questions here. Email us. You can at in Discord at um, us as well, and we'll try to get back to you on
Yeah.
this stuff specifically about this. do the RSVP right now if you want to be on that list. We have a bunch of people on the RSVP, but like I said, not everyone is getting the interactive passes on that. So if you get on the RSVP now, there's a big possibility that you'll get that link first still anyway, and that there'll still be spots available. All right. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate all your time. Thank
Yeah.
you, Thaddeus, for taking the time here, and for everyone in the audience.
Thank you guys. It's super exciting.